So I've done what I need to do. Time for me to go. G'day folks, welcome back. My name's Simon and this channel is all about motorcycles, adventure, camping and touring, or Mad Cat as I like to call it. Depending on how close the car behind me is when I get up here to the culvert, I might be able to pull in there and stop. But if not, we'll get a better view of it going in this direction anyway. There's a four-wheel drive coming up behind me, so yeah, there's that. And we used to drive over these culverts every day coming through to primary school. And that's the convict built road there. You can still see the cobblestones in it. And this is the Finances Crossing culvert, built around about 1831, as you can see. And this is part of the convict trail, caring for the Great North Road. So there is actually I'd probably guess it's probably a website that you can visit, and it tells you all about the convict trail. If I can find it, which I probably can, I will put it up as a link in the description. Anyway, I'm going to stop recording for a little bit and enjoy the ride back to Laguna and hopefully go and run into a few friends. I have a lot of history here in Laguna, and this is a Laguna trading post, and it was established in 1879. I haven't been here that long, obviously, but I have a lot of history in this rural community, because obviously the primary school just up there and the trading post here was where we used to come and sit after school to wait for our parents to pick us up, or wait for the school bus to come through with, you know, like our older siblings, that sort of thing. So anyway, I was just talking to some people in the shop there, and and I remembered a funny story. So just over near the school is the fire shed, and you can probably just see it there, green roof, green roller doors, big brick fire shed. There's 2 roller doors on it. And when I was a kid, we used to have tourist coaches come streaming through here every day, on the weekends in particular, and they would stop off at the Wollombi Tavern, where their passengers would buy bottles of Dr. Jerd's Jungle Juice and Frank's Firewater and that sort of thing. Basically the local piss. And I wondered why it wasn't starting. It was in first. And the tourist coaches used to come roaring through and stop at the Wollombi Tavern. So back in the day, we had a rickety little old shed with an old International truck, petrol truck, that used to be our fire truck. And they were great old trucks. The only problem with them was, being petrol, was that when they used to go out to the fires, because of the intense heat in the air, the petrol used to vaporize in the carburetor before it could get sucked down into the engine. So they used to run really, really badly when it came to actually taking them into really bad fire zones. And this area is very fire prone. Remember some really big bushfires here. And in fact, in 2019, they had some fairly big bushfires just over behind the mountains there. Anyway, so the local council, Cessnock City Council, said if you raise the money to build a fire shed, we will give you a brand new fire truck. And so we were going to get a new Isuzu fire truck, come what may. We were going to raise the money to build the shed. And my father was sitting up here at the Wollombi Tavern one day, having a beer, chatting with one of the coach drivers, the tourist coach drivers. And he lined up with the tourist coach that it would stop in Laguna and we would fake a robbery, because this road used to be full of bushrangers and that sort of thing back in the day, back in the 1870s and so on. And so we would fake a robbery of a coach, which was all organised with the coach driver, and he knew about it. And literally we're going to run onto the coach and ask for gold coin donations, because we'd just got $1 coins towards building the new fire shed so that we could get the new truck. So anyway, come the day that this is arranged for, I think probably a Saturday or something, my brother came up with his horse from home, and it's 10 kilometres from home to Laguna, and he was wearing his Cobra hat, think cowboy hat, not the American style, but his Cobra hat, and wearing a dry-as-a-bone jacket, and he looked every part, like a bushranger, wearing a bandana across his face. And the rest of us, all the other kids, were all sitting in the culvert just off the side of the road. And somebody was around the corner at the church to tell us when the tourist coach was coming, using a walkie-talkie. And it was very piss poor walkie-talkie, but anyway, we hear this, it's coming. So my brother gets out on the road with his horse, and the coach grinds to a halt in front of him. They open the door of the coach, and all the rest of us kids run onto the coach, and we say, this is a stick-up, your money or your lives. And we take our hats off, our Cobra hats or peak cap or whatever they had, and we were wearing like bandanas across our face as well, and we said, folks, we're trying to raise some money to build the new fire shed here for the community, and we'd appreciate any coins that you've got, gold coin donations or whatever. Thank you very much, and we'll let you go on your way. Anyway, my father goes to talk with the coach driver and whatever. We finish doing what we're doing. We get, we raise some money. I don't know how much it was, but we raise some money, and then the coach gets led on its way. And later on, my dad tells me it was the wrong coach. Anyway, completely dumb story, but that was one of the things that, that happened when I was a little kid growing up in this area. Which is such a cool memory, to be honest, to remember things like that. Yeah. Anyway, I'm just coming into Wollombi, where I'm going to pull up at the tavern and see who else I know in there, and maybe have a beer, and then head on up to Broke, because the weather seems to be holding out. I don't really want to ride when it's dark, but I've still got a couple of hours, so that should be all right. And that's up the Paynes Crossing Road to Broke. To be honest, I could probably even just stop here. It doesn't really matter to me that much. Just adds a little bit of time onto my day tomorrow, but that's okay. Just had a wonderful chat with an old mate at the pub in Wollombi. And that's the historic Wollombi Courthouse over there, which is now a museum, built in 1866. And it's time to continue my journey to Broke. Remember, we used to have market days out here in the auction yards there, and then they spread over to here. It's our vineyard. Anyway, this road's all tar sealed now. The road out to where I grew up and this road used to all be dirt. So I got about an hour before sunset. It should take me about, I don't know, 40 minutes or something to get to where I'm going, which is good. I will have to watch out for animals though, because they'll be starting to move shortly. The biggest problem out here is very large kangaroos and wombats. And a wombat is kind of like a Sherman tank on legs. You hit one with a car and it can write your car off. "40 kilometers an hour now. Yay!" However, that four-wheel drive that they got on that trailer isn't strapped down with anything except the strap at the back holding the tow bar, which isn't going to do anything. So I don't really want to be behind it either. I saw them at Wollombi when they turned off, and I noticed that there's nothing strapping it down. There might be a strap at the front onto the chassis holding that. But it's still not going to do much. There's nothing holding the wheels down. And that strap at the back probably has a 1,500 kilo load limit, if that. It's not a very heavy duty one. In fact, it's probably only a 500 kilo load limit. As you're riding along, now of course I've got an advantage over most people because I know this road, having grown up here and driven along it about 1,000,000 billion trillion times. But as you're riding along, look through the trees and see the road, and then you can find out whether or not there's something coming towards you before you go around a corner. There we go, broke. Turn the heated grips off. Bit of steam coming off the road, bit of rain in the air. And Friday night at the broke store. So I've set myself up camping in a park at Broke, which is out the back of Cessnock. And just over here is this really loud, obnoxious, really obnoxious woman. Oh. I've considered moving, but instead I decided to pour some Jack Daniels into a bottle of Pepsi Max and make the most of that. Anyway, there you go, hammock between some trees with a tarp over the top, and the bike's just in front of me.